Hello everybody and welcome to London's Twickenham Stadium for day one of the FACEIT Minors. 32 teams are ready to battle it out over 15 days to claim their spots at the most important tournament of the year, but only 8 will make it through. Today, we start off with the Americas Minors with Group A, consisting of NRG, Swope Patrol, NTC and United.
Great Britain has played host to many esports events. Many of them have been of the Counter-Strike variety. From ECS to ESL, all the way to Jaffinity and DreamHack, there is a reason why the UK has seen so many events. What we lack in raw gaming ability, we make up with our passion for the scene, and in 11 weeks' time, you're going to hear London roar as the FACEIT London Major kicks off at the SSE Arena, Wembley, London. Normally we call this Road to London. But boys, girls, it's coming home. It's here now. 32 teams, 15 days, featuring teams from 4 regions. We begin with the Americas, move to CIS, follow that up with Asia, and finish things off with the Europeans. That's 15 days of CS coming your way, free of charge, across several platforms. Hello everyone, I'm Frankie Ward. I'm going to be your host for the next 5 days, and this, the FACEIT Americas Minors, and I've got Vendetta and Jacob with me on Analyst duties. Now, we obviously want to know what you guys are thinking, where you're watching. No comments about the football, please. Use the hashtag FACEIT Minors, okay? I want to hear what you guys are thinking about the teams we've got coming up today. And we're going to talk more about those in a bit. We've got 8 top teams from Americas kicking off with NRG and Swope Patrol. And of course, we're live across several different platforms. So I want you guys to make sure you're following or subscribing, whatever the terminology is, for the platform you favour. Because as well as the minors, we have got challenges, we've got legends, and of course, we've got all that action coming from September's major. So if you want to keep up to date with it and you haven't got a ticket to that final, you're going to be able to keep track with it if you follow your preferred platform. Boys, welcome to the minors. We're kicking things off with the Americas. How does it feel to be here?
Feels great to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's going to be fun to see who actually makes it through the major. That's obviously the grand, prize of the year, pretty much for any hopeful team. And even though there is prize money to be won here, obviously the 2 spots that puts you in or gets you back to London in September, that's going to be the big goal.
Because they don't just get through to the majors by completing the minors, do they? They've got a little bit more of a challenge ahead of them, so to speak.
Yeah, no, there definitely is, and I mean it's become quite a grind really to make it to majors at this point, to the point where you're seeing teams like NIP having issues actually making it all the way to the point where like the minor in itself is a bit of a major. So yeah, no, a long road ahead, but you definitely have capable teams here.
And Jacob, as someone who's played in many a minor and a major, what do these teams need to stick it out to the bitter end?
I mean, they need the skill, obviously, in order to win. But one of the most important things about the majors and the majors is the fact that it's so important for them, and the pressure is so high, basically. I remember when I played the minors, like it didn't feel like you were playing your own game. It felt like the pressure was just dropping you down a little bit. So you have to put that off your shoulders, just do your thing, and hopefully the team with the best mentality going into this tournament will also be the teams going to the major in London in September.
Have you got your eyes on any teams in particular, Jacob?
I'm looking forward to see NTC. I feel like it's a team with a lot of potential, a team that we haven't really seen shine through yet. And I think a tournament like this would be where they have to shine through. They would have to make the major. They would have to, once again, manifest themselves as a great team, as great players. And if they can't do it here, then I'm losing sort of like hope in them. So we got to see NTC step it up. And they have a tough group ahead of them, and we're going to see them today. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, let's see how they're going to be able to do it, because we've got 2 essentially a little bit bit like double elimination brackets in themselves because it's GSL. So we're going to see 2 best of ones. Then we will have an upper bracket final. We'll have a losers final, and then we'll have the lower bracket final. So 2 teams will be going home. 2 teams will go through to Monday's quarterfinals. We do it all over again with the second 4 teams in Group B tomorrow. But we are kicking off today with NRG versus Swope Patrol. So our top dog versus one of our underdogs, and we'll be following that up with E United versus NTC, those boys from Brazil that everyone's got their eyes on. No rude thoughts at home. I'm strictly all about the games here at the FACEIT Miners. Here we go, anyone who knows me. This is what you want from me. This is what you want from me. Vendetta, that first matchup though, Swope Patrol, kind of a bit like a mixed roster.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed roster. A team that kind of came together on, I guess, by accident in that sense. It's Freakazoid, obviously the one with the most gusto within that team, joining his brother's team, pretty much. So that's him, for a lot of us that we thought that would be a step back for him and sort of not playing at the competitive level anymore that he previously used to. But they've gradually gotten better and better, doing really well for themselves in multiple leagues online and trying to make it back to become an actual prominent team within NA. And this is an opportune time to do so as well.
Opportune indeed. And speaking of opportune moments, I like a player with a bit of muscle on them, and I sent Freya down to go and try and... Oh, hang on a second. No. She's not ready yet for us. In fact, we're going to find out more about the teams that are in Group A.
There we have
So
it.
let's find out who those 4 teams are.
Starting off Group A of the Americas Minor are the dominant force of NRG. The side have proved their form against some top-tier teams recently, with the Bulgarian Beast Cirque running rampant with the AWP. But can in-game leader Daps guide his team to victory? Also in Group A are the North Americans of Swope Patrol, and will be the first side to take on NRG. Taking down Ghost to secure their minor spot, brothers Cooper and Freakazoid took the series by storm, and will be looking to make NRG their next victims. E United are the 3rd team to make up Group A. Canadian Rifle and Moose has proved he is the one to watch, dismantling the likes of the Entourage and Armada in the qualification stage. But will it be enough to secure their spot at the major? The Brazilians of NTC round off Group A, taking on E United in their debut match. Shaking up their roster with new addition Cello, former major winner FNX will be looking to take one step closer to reclaiming the title. But will the Brazilians come out on top?
Will the Brazilians come out on top indeed, or will it be NRG's to take, or even theirs to lose? Vendetta, what do you think?
I think NRG, for NRG not to qualify from this minor would be an absolute disaster. Again, they're by far the highest ranked team, on a worldwide basis. They're ranked 7 currently in the world. The closest team to them, I think, is Rogues, down at 32. So it's a pretty significant gap. They've been playing excellently for the last couple of months, done well in online leagues, offline tournaments as well. They have to make it. That's just how simple it is. And for I guess another team that you kind of need to look out for, I think you were spot on with NTC. I mean, they have the player potential to be good enough to make it to semifinals of majors. That kind of caliber of players within that side, but they haven't showed it at any given point, and now is kind of their do or die moment.
Jacob, we haven't spoken about E United yet, so should we be counting them out of the race right now?
Not at all. I feel it's a team that has gradually been getting better for quite some time. They have some players who's been around the scene for quite a time as well, and it's sort of like a leftover team with players that didn't really make the best NA teams, but sort of scrambled together now and are doing well for themselves. Qualified for ESL Pro League as well by beating Swope Patrol, so they've already had some internal fights as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull in the level. The problem for them in this one is that NTC has the experience. They've tried it before. They have 2 players or 3 players who played in a major semi-final or even in a major final. So it's going to be a tough dog fight, and I'm not sure if E United are ready for that yet. They're okay, but whether they have the level to go to the next step, that's what we're going to see basically.
And Swope Patrol, they seemed very tired when I spoke to them backstage. They've got their sights pretty high. They formed because they wanted to make it to ESL Pro League, but they also know that they're a team that makes a lot of mistakes, and if they make a single mistake, that could be it for them. Do you think they can hold it together, Jake?
Nah, I don't think so. I think Swope Patrol is, as you said it yourself, it's sort of like a mixed roster. Not too sure how serious the out is. You have to take into account that a team like NTC is basically breathing and living this game. They've been bootcamping in Cologne for more than a month, straight, and they're just, guys of calibers that you can't be reckoned with. Whereas Swope Patrol, they seem to have a little bit more fun with it. What goes into their favor is what we just talked about, the pressure. NTC know they have to make the major. They know they have to qualify from this one. Whereas Swope Patrol, there's no expectations. They come in here, can just brush it off if they lose, and if they end up winning or end up doing good, then that's great for them. So pressure is off, and sometimes that's a great thing in Counter-Strike.
It definitely is, and they also have like solid individual players. Obviously, Freakazoid has proved themselves in teams like Cloud9 and so on, but they've also brought in more recently Lilman, and you've obviously had the experience of playing versus him, during your tenure in Liquid, and definitely a capable player. We saw him standing in for NRG as well during online leagues, etc. Like. They have capable players. I think Cooper as well, Freakazoid's brother, has been surprisingly good, honestly. Normally you would expect, the younger brother of any sort of sibling rivalry to be kind of the the one left out or something. And there's a reason why he hasn't been at the same caliber as Freakazoid, but in Swope Patrol, he's been doing exceptionally well for himself.
NRG then. Obviously, no one's going to be underestimating them. Whether they might Swope Patrol, how quick do you think this next map is going to be? Do you think NRG are just going to blast through it, or do you think actually they need to be kept on their toes?
I think they need to be kept on their toes, and I think we're going to see a bit of that nerve where we're just talking about. They have to get into the tournament, they have to brush off the pressure and just get into their own game. There's no doubt when NRG is playing their game and they're playing up to their own potential, their own level, they're going to win against Swope Patrol 99 out of 100 times. It's that simple. They're that big favorites. But when you're playing a minor tournament, it's just not playing any other online tournament or any other qualification. There's so much on stake. There's getting to this major in September, and that's basically everything for Counter-Strike players. So if they get off to a bad start, lose the first pistol round, and all of a sudden find themselves down 0-3 or 0-5, that pressure gets to you. So we're going to see what NRG are really made of, and whatever's going to be a quick game, doesn't really matter. As long as they win, that's the main goal. Get into the tournament and get off to a good start.
Any players we should be looking out for on either roster?
I think there's one player that definitely stands out, and just, common theme for us when we talk about NRG, and that's Cirque, the Bulgarian beast with that op, and he's definitely going to be a vital part for them. We've seen him kind of go missing a couple of times, for his first offline tournaments. He was obviously, pretty much a demigod throughout any sort of online games that NRG had for the longest period of time. Now he's finally seeming to do that as well, translating that into offline play as well, which is essential for NRG. On the side of Swope Patrol, I think it's going to have to be Freak. He's the one with the most experience. He's the one who's done it before. He's been there. He has to show the ropes for the four other guys.
Wow, actually, that is opportune. Freya has managed to track down the muscle man that I want to go and meet later. She got in there first. So let's head over to Freya because she's tracked down a member of Swope Patrol.
That's right, I'm here with Freakazoid from Swope Patrol. So you guys are going up against NRG in your first matchup. They've been a dominant team online and on LAN recently. How have you been preparing for this matchup?
Not much at all, actually. But we just want to play our game mainly, just do what we do best, and yeah, we just need to come focused and ready to play and just focus on what we can do and not what they do good. So that's our main thing.
Cool, so how are you guys feeling about your group in general?
It's going to be tough. I mean, we're the underdogs for sure, but we can always just toss in some upsets. BO1s, so anything can happen really. We just have to play our game.
So your team is quite distinct in your lineup, the fact that you and Cooper are brothers. So is there any sibling rivalry between you, and does there get any competition at any point?
No, not really. It's just we try to bring out the best in each other for sure, but at the same time, we do butt heads, but I love them at the end of the day, so I'm happy to get to play alongside them for sure.
Cool. Thank you so much, and good luck in the game.
She's got the best job indeed. Freakazoid, tell me a bit more about him. You said he's the one to watch, but what's his history, and why has a roster formed around him?
I mean, his history is obviously that, first off, if you go back to CSS days, he was one of the better players in North America for a long period of time. Going into CSGO, he actually didn't play that actively for a long period of time. He actually came back before he joined Cloud9 and had a 5-month break from Counter-Strike in total. So kind of just got thrown into the wolves and actually did pretty well for himself. He's often harped on, by the community because he didn't necessarily post the best stats and whatnot, but playing within his role within the team, as Cloud9 wanted him to do, he was exceptionally good at that job. And I think that's something that he's not given enough credit for a lot of the time. Now coming into Swope Patrol, it's a very different kind of scenario for him. He's not, it doesn't have the same kind of teammates he had in Cloud9. So he's going to be more of the guy taking charge. He's also the entry fragger for the side right now. he's doing a much more efficient job of that than he did in Cloud9. He was more of a sacrificial lamb back then. Now he's actually being able to kind of pull his weight in that sense and actually lead the team forward by example.
Well, it's going to be a best of one to kick things off today. What map do you guys think they've picked? Because you haven't heard, but I have.
Ooh.
And I'm surprised by this. I'm really surprised by this. So I want to hear what you guys are going to predict.
You make it sound like it's
going to be like
Nuke
or something.
Nuke or Train or something like that.
I gave it away. Yeah, it was Nuke.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Are you?
I'm very surprised by the fact. I think if you're Swope Patrol, you're kind of just like crossing your fingers, like, well, map beta-wise, we don't have a better map pool than NRG. That's they realize that going into it, so we might as well just go to the most flip-floppy map we can think of, and that's Nuke, right? I think for NRG, they're going to be totally confident still going into it, even though it's Nuke, because it is a map that they have played in the past as well. But I still like for a best of one with the kind of gravitas that this match has. That's very surprising.
I think it's nice of NRG. I think it shows confidence. It shows that they believe in themselves, and going in, as you said, on Nuke, it's kind of like a flip-flop map because you can start on the T side, you can get off to a bad start, and they know that they're going to be nerfs on, if they get to that bad start, but still they believe so much in themselves. They know that they're so much better than going in on Nuke. That shouldn't be a problem for them because they're a great Nuke team. First of all, Cirque is a great AVP player, closing down the yard time and time again. So they have everything they need in order to win this one. So it gives me a sign that they're just confident. They know they're gonna ace this one. They're gonna go in and just beat them, and it's a great thing. It doesn't seem like the pressure has gotten to them. So already by the video you can judge that NRG is ready to go.
So we're feeling NRG across the board. Now, before I throw us into the map, I just want to mention that if you are watching on YouTube Gaming, so that is youtube.gaming.com/FACEIT, you would be able to win some FACEIT points, so look out for those drops. But I think that they are ready for us on Nuke. So should we get into it, guys?
Let's do it.
The first map of the FACEIT America's Minor is about to get underway.
Cheers, Frankie. We are ready to kick things off here. Thank you for the patience from Swope Patrol and NRG as well. Had some delays getting things kicked off today. No pun intended. Obviously, England are playing later on, but we'll come to that. So it is going to be Nuke for our first match. I'm interested to see what these Swope Patrol boys can do. We haven't seen much of them well, they're not in ECS, so we don't really see much of them. I guess it will be a surprise. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've been sort of in as far as the sort of top flight CS goes, they just haven't been that present. Freakazoid, as mentioned on the desk, he hasn't been present at that level for quite some time. But this is really, that slow grind behind the scenes. This is the culmination of that. So this is where they get to really prove what they're made of. And the unfortunate thing for them is NRG are incredibly good right now, and it would be very surprising if NRG were not to have a good game here, especially because Nuke is a great map for them. And we're straight into it. Swope Patrol on the CT side, NRG looking to try to barrel into that ramp room, it would seem, with Breeze on the outside for a little bit of a cheeky distraction.
He's got a P250, nice range for some headshots, but Lil Man will get things kicked off. There is the pun again. Cirque and Daps will respond in kind. Lil Man will see the players moving down into ramp position, doing some tags, but Fugly will be alive and he can hold on to that position. 4 versus 2 very early here for the side of NRG. Not looking great for Swope Patrol. And they have a smoke, but I don't know how much that's going to be useful for them. There goes Lil Man. Freakazoid now with the smoke and the kit. He's got a 1 versus Cirque, but Cirque need not take that engagement. Freakazoid worried about his 6, but they're all on the site, more or less. Daps in the door, and Breeze in control. Saw Daps earlier on. Quite enjoying the facilities here. But Swope Patrol will not enjoy that first round. Not the start you want on the CT side of Nuke.
Yeah, very rough start against a team like NRG, who are, I would say, pretty well drilled on Nuke. And when you get that a good start on the T side, you are able to understand how to make the best calls very easily. Because you understand how your opponent's economy is. Their options are fairly limited. If they're going for the force buy, then they're going to be in a position where there's only certain options which are actually good for them. So it's pretty easy to predict that. And so if they're able to just top or Swope Patrol on this round, it'll be smooth sailing into that first round where they have to play against the rifles. And also, I think the rifles will be fairly limited because the utility will be limited for Swope Patrol. So you can see it all just really lines up very well for NRG. It's just a case of them hitting the shots, being disciplined, and being able to circumvent these somewhat dangerous pistols.
Ethan down to 30 HP. That's a rifle to be collected, but how hungry will Zealous be to try and collect that? Obviously, he will be very exposed if he goes beyond this position. They can sit on what they have for the time being. The CT side don't need to get too greedy, but you can see he's heard the sound cues. He's heard the T's moving into A main. Spotted a player outside, but now Zealous is gone, leaving Cooper, Freak, and Silence. Now, how much do they want to invest? Maybe they'll feel like their chances have come and gone, though they do have the high ground advantage. Daps must have been looking at the radar there because he was really slow off the mark, and that's a massive frag for Swope Patrol. They get the trades, and the last two players don't have a defuse kit, but more damage can be done. Does Cirque face? He's only got 41 HP. Trying to spread, but he can't take his teammate out at the same time. Now with 4 HP, Freakazoid, he needs to try and collect something and get out of there. He needs to run quite a distance, but Fugly will get the wall bang, and there is 2-0 for NRG. Crisis averted. That is the curse of an in-game leader as well. You saw Daps just AFKing while he got killed in the hut position. Trying to keep an eye on what your team are doing. It's a very common occurrence for an in-game leader to die while looking at the radar.
And now it's really easy. Just play against these USPs. They've got 3 MAC-10s to fill up on from the players that died, so that works out quite nicely for NRG. And those they can actually keep some of those SMGs into the next round if they want to, if they don't lose anybody here. And you can see they just run straight into the upper bomb side. There's no messing around, no need to do so. Quick and clean. And for Swope Patrol, it's hard for them to get a good engagement from this point forward. So they'll be focusing on just creating some traps outside, and should NRG want to get some kills with those SMGs, should they want to collect that, farm that bonus money, they are going to have to go into quite an unfavorable position. And you can see that they sort of have a gentleman's agreement here. They may sacrifice one player to try and just do a little bit of cheeky damage here, but generally speaking, Swope Patrol have done very well here not to give anything away at the end of this round. You see a lot of teams not actually go for this approach, but I think this is the optimal approach for Swope Patrol.
Yes, they have almost nothing to gain from this situation. All they can do is give money away to these SMGs, and they will try to avoid doing that. And for the most part, they will. And there is a team of NRG as we look for both of these teams to come in for the buy. Now we'll see what Swope Patrol have to work with. Weapons and utility. Utility will be short, and that can often be an indicator of increased aggression from a CT side. But what kind of aggression can they take here on Nuke? Maybe we'll see a fast rotation through B into the secret area. See the smokes right, and it's a quick split of the A site, it seems. NRG with great time pop flashes. I don't think Zealous has any idea, but Freakazoid is holding the angle, and Lil Man will try to save, but he will go down. But there's a big advantage now for Swope Patrol. Only lost 1 player so far, and if they can keep it that way, then that would be fantastic for them. Indeed, they will. AKs will be collected if they can get there fast enough. 3 AKs collected, only 1 player picked off. That is exactly the round that they needed.
Yeah, definitely looks very ready for that Swope Patrol. That very fast split onto the upper bomb side. Trying to shock and all their way to success. Didn't work out, but obviously enough money in the bag to get another full buy-in. And Cirque will pick up the AWP, the Bulgarian beast, as he is referred to commonly by his teammates and by everybody else. He's earned that title. See if he's able to get an early pick here. Will they expect an AWP? Will this be tested? Will Cirque hit the first shots? As soon as he's spotted, they'll know the AWP is out, and they may change how they tackle certain angles. Quick smoke to deny any picking opportunities. That's going to kill some time. During that time, NRG need to try to find something else on the rest of the map, but they're fairly passive outside as well. Right now, the conservation of utility is working quite well for Swope Patrol.
Patiently waiting for NRG, who are about to hit the minute mark, and maybe these timings will be an indicator for future rounds as far as Swope Patrol are concerned. Let them come to us. We don't need to seek engagements, take fights. NRG not afraid to run the clock down, and I'm sure they will have some timings on point. Play will be heard in the lobby. Again, the windows have been modified to make executes into A easier. Looks like the squeaky door's been blown off. 35 seconds now, and you start to wonder if one of these frags goes the wrong way. Oh, they're lining up. That's a perfect spray from Freakazoid. 3 kills for him, and that is the round shut down before it even begins. I don't think a single step was made into the A bomb site.
All the money lost. All the paper's been burnt. That's a very, very disappointing around there for NRG, and you can see that there was 2 steps to it. It seemed as though they always wanted to go into the upper bomb sites. You can see initially they had Cirque looking to get the pick. The smoke foiled that. They didn't have any players with any other presence to do anything else at the same time. And then by not trying to explore any other options, they committed themselves into that push. And it's good to see that Swope Patrol are able to punish them for a telegraph play.
Yeah, but NRG have made inroads here with the pistols, and that's a problem for Swope Patrol to try and deal with. So this will be heard running around upstairs and punished easily by Ethan. But does he know that there's a second player here? Freakazoid's got the bomb around the main position. And it might be a question of damage at this point, unless they can get position. Freakazoid in an awkward spot now. If he goes in the corner of T-Vent, he can have his teammate hold for him while he looks towards the upper area. But he'll be focusing on main. But Lil Man's focusing on main and heaven at the same time. So this is really awkward now for Swope Patrol, especially with Silent picked off. The bomb has been collected, and NRG will make their way towards B.
2 AKs collected as well. That is a very troubling situation. Bomb down. Freakazoid quickly opening the door there. Will spot Daps. Daps very, very weak. Only player with any Kevlar, but only 15 HP. Could not really use it. Now Ethan in the 1v2. We know he's more than capable. Plenty of time here for Swope Patrol to search every nook, cranny, crevice for Ethan. He will make his position known. The flashbang goes out. He's going to have to make this work now as he goes for the final peek, perhaps. Tries to get... Oh, maybe both, but not in time. The defuse is there. Oh, my God. That was so close.
Oh, man. That was crazy. I have to give credit to Freakazoid at the beginning of the post plant, just running past the door to find out where the player was rather than just stand there and seek. That would have given the advantage to the T side, but what a defuse. What a defuse. You could see Ethan prioritizing an engagement with the person defusing the bomb, but he just could not get there in time. Brutal stuff for NRG, but they got so far on a mere pistol round. They can't be too frustrated with that. They've done colossal damage to the economy of Swope Patrol. We've now gone all in with 2 AWPs in this round.
And there's a smoke from Silent. He's holding ramp with an AWP, so it will be hard to push into that position without a pretty sizable effort. I don't think a 1v1 is going to be working out there. It's a very different approach now. And it works out for Silent. Gets the first pick. There's the second orb. Cooper shows his position. Picks up another one as they try to punish the retreating Silence, but unable to do so. Now NRG well and truly stuck in the mud, and we can absolutely see why there's been the confidence to go for this selection of Nuke here from Swope Patrol. They look very comfortable.
Daps and Fugly remain 3 unanswered kills. Very simple setup on the ramp as well. With the bait and switch, Fugly gets 1. The bomb is still in possession of these Ts. Just under a minute to work with. And really it's Fugly, well, he's carrying the bomb as well, so he is the mad fragger of the 2. There's a second one. They know the bomb is in the ramp area. Can they choke off the routes to the site? And where is Daps? At some point, Daps has to activate because there's only so many places that Fugly can go to. Daps checking the CT vent, but there is Zealous from the T vent. There's one player in the vent itself as well. Will he spot Freakazoid? He's just about got the angle. Are they really going to bring this one back? Dueling, and he gets there to pre-fire for Freakazoid. He makes it erratic, and now Silent is the last man standing.
And what a big job he has to do as well. It would be so catastrophic and so demoralizing to lose a round where it is a 5v2. NRG just walking around the map systematically, getting the fights to go their way. Silent gets the first of 2 that he needs to win the round, but he will not know where Daps is. That is a horrible situation, and after so many great performances, that is the power of NRG. It can't be a 5v2, it's got to be a 5v0 because unless it is, there's always a chance back in it, no matter who's left for NRG.
That is a shocker for Swope Patrol. 5 versus 2. And again, the impact of NRG in the previous round has decimated the money of Swope Patrol. Now, that will be a frustrating round, but it's a round that's in history. It's something to review after the match. You can't let that trigger you for the rest. And I think if you're a coach, for example, this is the kind of run where we say it's good that this happened early rather than happening late. There is room for recovery. We are only a round behind, so if this is going to happen, this is the best time for it to happen. So you can spin a positive in a very negative situation. Now we see Ethan in a familiar position. On the pistol round as well, we saw the fast plays into main with some flashbangs from NRG. And Ethan is comfortable in what you might consider an exposed position, but he has Cirque for support as well, so it seems that NRG are well versed on Nuke. However, this time the UMP will be greater than the AK.
Despite having the man advantage, though, Swope Patrol are hurting significantly. The health is running low on 3 of the 5 players. NRG, though, they don't have really any position of the map to work with just yet. They still have to try to work for that, and that's what they're doing outside. That will be the operating part of the push at the moment as they look to open up main. They can go for that split onto the upper side. We've seen them after that previously. Nice snap there from Ethan. Very clean indeed. Now as he looks to follow up for the second one, that will come his way as well. The third also will go to Ethan as pretty much everyone's cleaned up. But Cooper, he's still left. That's 2 quick bullets. Could be a third, but no. Breeze shuts him down, but that could have gone their way. Just 1 man left standing. That was too much damage received for NRG's side.
Swole still looking dangerous, even in the unlikely rounds. That is good, and I do wonder about the unfamiliarity. This is not NRG's usual opponent in recent times, and I do wonder if the element of surprise could be something that Swope Patrol can play off, because in some ways it's easier to play against a stronger opponent who you're more familiar with than an unfamiliar opponent, especially in a best-of-1 scenario. So smoke into main, so a different approach this time from NRG. Throwing some questions out there that Swole may choose to answer. See Cooper's lining up for a drop into main, and Ethan's not far away, but he hasn't got the angle. He will pick up Breeze, however, but a trade is there.
4v4 ensues. Ethan looking to try to make that much better for his team as he opens things up towards main. Does spot out Freakazoid though, so they're aware of his position, and there will be a few bullets thrown through the shutter. But Lil Man, look at this guy. He's managed to find himself on the flank. He's creating a lot of presence there to suggest that there's lots of danger. They'll go and try and seek him out, and they'll be successful. And now there's Freakazoid and Silent remaining to try to find something and prove that they can do to NRG what NRG previously did to them. But they aren't as well equipped. But Freakazoid could have a good angle, could get the drop on them if he can find the bomb as well, as it is making its way towards them. It's 3 players though, a 1v3 with a 5-7. Do you believe, James?
It's seen worse, but not this time. Not this time for Freak. Silence alone now. Maybe he gets 2 from here. He can let the first guy go past. He thought Daps might have seen him there, which is why he takes the engagement. Again, 1 kill really isn't enough for Silence in this position, which is why he delays. He wants 2 at the very least. He'll be forced away. 3 players remain. Little for Silent to lose. Trying to punish the reload. Just about gets there, but he's running out of bullets now. And the trade will come in for NRG, and that will be 6-2-3 in favor of NRG. And from what I can tell, these 2 teams have only met twice. Once on Cash, once on Overpass in Star Series. Both games went to NRG with less than 10 rounds for their opponents. NRG currently on a win streak of at least 5 matches.
Oh, straight outside. Breeze, he will find 3-4 players. And Ethan wants a part of the action too. He'll get some. And he'll fall on his sword. And everyone's dead. That's how we like it. Quick, clean, and quick. I think I said quick twice there, and I think that's really where the emphasis should go on Ikaras. So
NRG have won their last 9 matches, and Swope Patrol have won 2 of their last 5 against teams I've never heard of. So this should be a match that NRG win, especially with their recent performances. But let's see. Swope Patrol now back in control for the time being with their 2 AWPs, but NRG will look to impose their will on the CT positions. So we'll have to see if Cooper and Silent can get off to a good start once again. This time Cooper's on the outside. He was offering support on ramp, if you remember, in that round, which did start off well, but didn't necessarily finish that way.
Presence outside here for NRG. Very fast as Ethan diving off the roof. And Cooper does have a good position with the AWP, but he... Oh no. Ethan will be straight above him. Easy frag. Catches Cooper unawares. And he's got a very strong position. if he's able to win the fight against Freakazoid or even force Freakazoid back, there's so much here for NRG to work with to try to keep the pressure going and to try to work their way onto the upper bomb site.
Daps trying to find out where the CT has gone. Can't quite figure it out. Has to assume he's on the floor somewhere. Freakazoid with a slight strafe and he'll get Ethan in the face. Daps just waiting for somebody to appear. That's a nice shot. He knows one CT vent. Trying to spray Zealous. The flashbang is there. Won't be flashed. Really hard pick for Zealous. Continues to be wallbanged and there's a grenade as well. He is going to be absolutely ruined. Lil Man now on the site on the low ground. He sees one go in the vent, but he could catch Fugly running away. Trying to collect the bomb, perhaps? I don't know. Looks like it's near the vent, but Daps has got some space. Surely he was seen in the corner of the smoke. What does he choose to do now? 16 seconds with which to plant the bomb. Surely he gets flanked through that smoke. He can't be standing there in a 1 versus 2. And angles are already being held. One more round for the CTs.
Yeah, you wonder. I think Daps thought that he had picked up the bomb too. Obviously, it's so difficult, especially on Nuke of all maps, when you're rushing to try to find that bomb sometimes when the smoke's down. But Swope Patrol, they're doing a pretty good job in keeping NRG honest in many respects, and you know, NRG have never really been able to build up any money, so good damage coming out of Swope Patrol, and even the rounds they are losing. And going back to the double ops once again, Zealous going outside, or Zelsis going outside, working around the smoke, can't find anything though. Very suspicious NRG will get the frag. That's a big win so early.
Hello. Ooh. Spots people flying in the air. Can't really re-pick that one. Such a tight angle. And that's definitely some compromised position. That will help NRG rescue the bomb, and indeed it has been rescued. Cooper won't realize that somebody is now above him. Even if he shoots somebody outside, surely he is done for. If he goes out the door, Ethan now has conceded his position. So the chess match continues here towards the Hell CT spawn area. Cooper better be quick, but there are so many sound cues. Why is Ethan making so much noise? Is this deliberate? Is he trying to pull rotation towards his position? Because Cirque and Breeze are going towards main, so it might be deliberate. Either way, it's going to work out for him. Stereo frags coming in for NRG. Freak and Silent remaining in a 2 versus 4.
What are they going to be able to accomplish here? It's looking grim. Bomb will be planted. Oh, very tough here for Silent. Whiffs the first shot. That's the end of him. And perhaps it will be the end of Freakazoid as well, if he goes for this. Holding a fairly aggressive exit, you could consider. I don't think that he'd be wanting to push further than this. Let's see if he can catch someone. No one to be caught just yet. Ethan might be able to spot him out, though, if he tries to move towards CT spawn, which is a common choice in this position for Freakazoid. But he's pretty aware that there's a lot of ground that's been covered, so he's doing the smart thing here, just sticking to what he can absolutely know is safe and keep the gun alive. But the 8th round goes for NRG, and a much-needed clean round from them. It's been, I think that may have been their most successful round, in fact, with 4 players surviving buy versus buy.
I don't know when I last saw Freakazoid. Maybe a DreamHack some years ago or something, but
Valencia.
Yeah, I bumped into him earlier. Nice to see him again. Daps has got a chunky beard going. Can they get some more momentum going? They had won 4 rounds in a row, as you can see at the top of your screen. Now what can Swope Patrol do with this less than ideal buy? CZ's on Nuke, I'm a believer. Cirque waiting for support, doesn't want to go too far, doesn't want to overextend, make sure trade is there if needed. Swope Patrol on patrol. Now this is a common position on an anti-eco, anti-force buy because it does allow you to fall back. You can see the angles he can take. He is, it's very limited what the CTs can do to rush him without going straight into his crosshair. So something for you to bear in mind at home.
Oh my God.
Fugly, you sexy beast. And there is the rifle taken away. Nothing doing in that round for Swope Patrol. But again, just for those of you at home, if you are in an anti-force by anti-eco situation and most of your players are outside, if you're the one man inside, that is pretty much where you want to be standing. It allows you to fall back. If there's a ramp rush and a hut push or something, they can't hit you at the same time. Obviously you have warning if they come through the door and so on, and you can fall back if you need to. So it is a very useful position to use.
So straight outside again. Swope Patrol with only really one more opportunity at a buy. You can see this is just pistols for them. It really started out so well for them, but NRG had taken the reins, and they are looking very dominant now, forcing their way through the secret position. And there shouldn't be too much that Swope Patrol can really manage here to stop them from getting a lower bomb site plant. And caught out in the open, Breeze just lurking outside, looking for that flank. He finds it to the tune of 2 players, in fact. Silent will find himself a quick kill, but in doing so gives up his position, and he's got pretty horrible odds here. A 1 versus 4, he's got no Kevlar, he's got the AK, he's now forced into a corner, and he will be slaughtered, and the round will go to NRG. 10-4 now. What can they muster, Swope Patrol, for that last round? Do they have something respectable? Do they have something worth some respect? Let's have a look. They'll have 5 M4s, so that's fairly respectable.
Yeah, it's better than some of the previous rounds. Will it be enough? Will it be enough? Will it be enough? Had a good spurt of 3 rounds much earlier on in this half, and then it's just been the one between the 7 in a, well, not in a row, but the 7 of NRG. The door has been blown off. I don't know if they heard Cirque's scope. Even if you do, what can you do about it? It is Cirque after all. We know what he's capable of. We need to continue to see him deliver on a higher and higher scale, and he's going towards the higher stage. And he's going towards the grandest stage of them all, the major. They're all trying to at the moment. Fugly picked off for now. Silent on the ramp. No snipers here for Swope Patrol. Swope Patrol, NRG trying to avoid the roll.
Ooh. 4 HP on Silence. 46 on Zelsis. Keeper playing very passively in CT. Looking like NRG are having some trouble here. They will try to force the issue into the upper side and see if they can make this work, but they need some very good entries. And Daps will get 2, but now it's down to Cirque as well, who is also with Daps. Oh! A little bit of team fragging there almost, as Daps is now the last man standing with 2 players to go. 30 seconds to plant the bomb, and he will be shot in the back of the head. 5 rounds for Swope Patrol at the end of the first half, and 10 for NRG. Swope Patrol is something to work with, but if they lose that pistol, it's not going to look all that fun.
Who's talking? Maybe Silent's talking. Bit of chit-chat. They're all focused. First game. Let's get into it. Never mind the implications. 1 round at a time. Freakazoid with a smorgasbord of grenades. Daps with a defuse kit and a smoke grenade, as per usual. You can often find him going for some smoke diffusers. Ethan off to a great start. There's a flashbang in there as well, and it is just picking cherries on a farm on the side of the road. There's no defense. There's no response.
And you think it's, Ethan is bad enough. He gets the first couple of cheeky kills, and then Cirque gets a strafe in, and he is just as precise. And the worst this happens, MP9 onto Daps and Fugly, but the rest will be filling out with rifles here for NRG in the defense. Swope Patrol, though, with 3 flashes and some CZs, could absolutely cause some shenanigans. Silent rocking the Deagle, looking for a snipe, looking for a pick, looking for a way in for Swope Patrol, as Ethan will spot them at distance over on the white silo. How does Swope Patrol get in here? NRG look fairly happy to challenge them, which is quite cool. A good display of confidence.
Nice burst from Ethan up top. Not the easiest shots, just pretty much a dot showing. Daps will take the position of his teammate, which is really important because it stops Freak from picking up the rifle, which might have been the intention there. And now Freak has lost the bomb as well, which does compromise some position, although there's still time for Swope Patrol to take alternative angles. But they are indeed both outside around that main position. Little man now picking up the bomb. Silent needs to catch up, but they're all fighting long ranges. So the M4A4 was collected, the MP9 was dropped, which still reduces the range of Little Man, although Fugly's in trouble, but Ethan will put a stop to that. 12-5 in favour of NRG. Can they be stopped at this point? We will soon find out. Swope Patrol really need to break the money of the CT side when they come in for their first buy. But it will not quite be yet because they have not got a bomb plant in either of these rounds.
Yeah, it's not a fun place to be. For NRG though, on the flip side, they can have a lot of fun if they want to. They can push lobby, they can push ramp simultaneously with the SMGs and just really bring the action close to Swope Patrol if they would like to. And it's, you know, it's important to have fun in some rounds when you have the opportunity to do so. You know, Fugly. Little does he know, there's 3 players. There's the first one. Can he control the spray? Only for 2. Trade will come out though, and that will be the end of that. 1 player lost. Very fine for NRG. Swope Patrol though, they're going to have one of their very few chances left to bring this one back. As now NRG only 3 away.
Only 2 players lost in these 3 rounds in this half for NRG. Bearing in mind how the pistol round went as well, there were probably a lot of cheap helmet upgrades, $350. So NRG are in a better spot than you might expect. Let's see how it works out. Early grenades on the outside. That will put Zelzis onto 22 HP. Not ideal for him. And they have seen no one just yet. That smoke grenade is a problem as well because there could be CTs lurking behind it on the left side of T-Red behind the shorter box, or even closer on the other side of main, as you used to see from teams like Astralis on the old Nuke. Fugly spotting on the ramp, and he will concede the position, but it won't be that easy to take the B bomb site.
And this is one of those rounds where you really have to win it, don't you? If NRG lose it, this is sort of that, in a manner of speaking, a bonus round in the sense that they keep the MP9, the FAMAS, there's no AWP out, they're really trying to play economically sound. And Swope Patrol need to win a couple rounds in a row to break the economy, so there's a lot to be asked for here from Swope Patrol as they are working their way onto the lower bomb site. And NRG keeping fairly good track of their positioning so far, allowing them to go quite far before going for an engagement. You really want them to spill out into the open spaces on the low ground before you really start to spring the trap in some cases, and looks like that's what Fugly's waiting for. Protecting the window. There it is. No one going through the door just yet. CTs have everything under control.
Oh dear.
Textbook.
The bomb may be a slight consolation for Swope Patrol, some bonus money, which may allow them to have a better buy as they may be forcing anyway. 14-5 in favour of NRG. All the rounds in the CT half so far.
That was a really good demonstration of the fact that if the T side aren't going to take any control of anything except just where you plant the bomb, you have no leg to stand on as soon as that bomb's planted. Like, where do you attack from? We saw the CTs can spill in from all the sort of the extremity positions, you know, the control room and the hazmat suit room and all this kind of stuff. So, you know, what do you have? You got to take something before you plant that bomb, and Swope Patrol suffered. So, ooh, missing the flick. Need to warm that wrist up, perhaps. Freakazoid, though, does not require any such warm-up. It's perhaps already in the gym, getting his pump on. 5v4 here. Swope Patrol with a much better start than the previous round.
Daps in the beds. Big fan of aluminium is Daps. Now he can rub his face against it. 5-on-3 for Swope Patrol. Ethan is in a tight angle, although Fugly will help him out. And there's no more controlling control for Swope Patrol. But they are on the way there. They've got loads of time. There's no rush. There's no urgency to plant the bomb right now. They just need to position themselves as best as possible to deal with these players. Celsius, he will spot Fugly. And he's able to plant. Ethan, though, maybe lurking in the dark. 2 kills for him. And that's spun around. Now somebody's got to go and get the bomb. And they know that Fugly was on the ramp position. They may think that was him. Will they expect a second player, even if they pick off Breeze here? There's the repick, but he sees the legs of Fugly. He has complete information now, silent, but he can't quite get the kills. The spray is there, but now he's got time pressure. 23 seconds. Only flashbangs on this NRG squad. He's got to plant this bomb.
Ooh, this is a rough one. Goes all the way around, though, up the ladder. He'll have just enough time to get the bomb planted here. This could be a stroke of genius from Silent, as he'll actually have enough time to reposition with this as well.
Oh. They think he's still downstairs. Oh, he's upstairs.
Yeah, that's not good, is it? We've all been there. Has Silent taken a good enough position, though? He's going to hear all the running. So much running up the ladder there. Heard by Silence, got a perfect position. Try to wait as long as he could. The spray is going to be good enough to finish it off. Great clutch there from Silent. So needed, keeps his team in it. But they still have a lot of money to try to cut through on NRG's side of things.
Very nice spray transfer from Mr. Portillo. I don't think I have the sensitivity to do that anymore. I think my mouse pad's not big enough for the drag. Really nice work by him. So you can see, I think it was Fugly first, sliding off that object on the corner, stops him taking full damage. Obviously he was in the red. And now we've got a rush from Swope Patrol, looking to break the bigger buy of the CT side. Starts off well, but how will it continue? They will get some more frags in. Ethan, his vision is obscured and he may be susceptible to grenades. There are HEs in play, but he's just charging forward. Back in the CT vent, but Freakazoid's there. And that leaves Cirque and Fugly.
Fugly will create some space for Cirque, though, as he does now take some attention up towards the heaven position. They still are aware of Cirque in the vents. And the question is, how much time does Fugly try to buy for Cirque here before he makes a move? Looks like he will wait it out until Cirque is fully repositioned. We can see he's made his way, and they are looking for him. Cirque, can he be quick enough? He will spot one going down towards the vent corner. But really the question is now whether Fugly can discover the position of the second player that remains. Nope, not in time. They will be eliminated in isolation as Fugly goes down in the end. Good effort, but Swope Patrol get themselves back in this one.
But they've only got half the score of their opponent. I believe there is a technical pause coming in. Or maybe not. Well, let's see. 2 rounds in a row now for Swope Patrol, and the CZs are out for NRG. Oh, okay, they said never mind. They didn't need one after all. This is still a very dangerous round for Swope Patrol. Is this a round that they will be prepared for? I feel like the lesser teams, if you will, or the lower ranked teams, will be more susceptible to solid setups in rounds such as this. So I'm very curious to see how Swope Patrol deal with a potential stack and any nasty corners from this CT side.
Yeah, it's you got those CZs in the hands of such individually good players. It's really scary. I like what Swope Patrol are doing, though. I think that if you are able to control the position of Heaven, it opens up the upper bomb side very nicely. There's no way you can really stand it safe if you have that position. Or rather, if your opponent has that position. And you can see that there's a lot of pushing here from NRG, so they are getting some information and slowly deducing what is happening. But are they able to deal with it? That's the question.
30 seconds, Swope Patrol. You haven't quite figured out. You know where they aren't. You don't know where they are. And now Breeze has got the first pick. So you, sir, are in trouble. Great shot from Cooper. 20 seconds for this bomb to go down. And they are picking these players off. Now Fugly remain. Can't quite hit the mark there. Could have been a lot worse. Cooper 2 HP, Lil Man 10. But they will prevail, Swope Patrol. 6 rounds now between the two sides.
That did look quite panicked, didn't it, at the end there? That was a scary situation, and the buy comes in again, so it gets even scarier for Swope Patrol. But if they're able to win this one, you start to fancy their chances to get into a very respectable scoreline, get into those double digits at the very least. Are they going to go for a fast one? Yes, straight out the squeaky position into the loving embrace of Daps there. Good for 2, but the trades will come in just as well for Swope Patrol as they take a bomb onto that upper side. They get the plant. And now it's all about the waiting game for NRG as they wait out some of this utility and try to position themselves to coordinate in for a retake.
There are very specific Molotovs going to Heaven, which spread across the entire place, so you literally cannot stand inside there whatsoever. And that clock is pretty ticked, and NRG are going to give this one up. Swope Patrol are catching up pretty damn quickly. This will be round number 4 in a row. And they're not far away from double figures at all, just the 1 round now.
Indeed. Unfortunately, though, with NRG already having 14 rounds, it could all turn very, very quickly. So they need to
positive, Dan. Positive. Come on. Now, do NRG force buy around what they have and potentially ruin their money, depending on what happens in the future? Yes, they do. So we'll see how this plays out for them. This is a strong buy, loss of utility. Cirque has what he wants in terms of the AWP as well. So see what they can do with it, if they can change their fortunes. Cooper's showing some leg. And he will be punished for it.
Yeah, needs to be quite cautious with Cirque lurking on the outside with that AWP.
What are these smoke grenades?
Prowling around.
2 have gone in the same place.
So let's not question it. let's leave that. At least they are going to be making their way down to secret safely. Although the question for NRG is now that they need to work out if that's the case or not. They have a pretty fortified defensive between Daps and Fugly. Fugly whiffs completely, as does Daps. That's not a formula for success for NRG, but Swope Patrol now with a very strong push into the lower bomb site. Doesn't seem like there's anything NRG can do from this position.
That's the round. That is the round. Brute force from Swope Patrol. They had the dictionary out and they broke the passwords. And they got in and they took everything. Now leaves Breeze and Cirque. Brezzy to hold on, or try to hold on to their weapons, and Swope Patrol now double figures. They're going to round number 10. And again, how can NRG really prepare for this? This is basically an unfamiliar team. They play on a higher tier. The highest tiers of Counter-Strike and Swope Patrol are still making their way. They're at base camp. They can't even see the peak just yet.
So we're calling him Brezzy now.
I like to go back and forth.
Yeah.
I like to hit him with a bit of Brezzy, but mostly going for the Breeze.
I like saying Breeze more, but I never sort of had a consensus.
Swope Patrol's avatar looks like what are those generated avatars you get on like WordPress sites and things? I forget what they're called. Somebody can tweet me about it. I have a little avatar which almost looks, well, it looks very similar to that, actually.
No idea. What do we have here from Swope Patrol? Looks like they will make their way with some outside presence, and Cirque is still on that AWP, so got to be cautious. We've yet to see him really activate, though, and do the horribly disgusting things that we're so very used to seeing from him. And you can be an awkward map for an AWP. That's one of the reasons why Kenny S is so famed here, is because he can make it work in ways that you don't really see other people being able to accomplish. And you can see the Swope Patrol really pressuring a lot of the map at the moment, pushing in on ramp. There was obviously the flames there towards main. Fugly will give up ramp. Cirque, there he is, in for another shot, but it's another leg shot. It's got to be frustrating for him.
FAMAS can finish them off though, but looking the wrong way is Fugly in that regard. It's Freakazoid who's high damage, he will finish him off, but look at the CTs being dispatched of. Breeze's flank could be very important here. Cooper's taken out, and that will run distraction. And the bomb has not been planted just yet, so they will feel compromised, this Swope Patrol. And there goes Lil Man as well. Now there's no one to cover the ramp. Now they can't really plant the bomb. 40 seconds at the moment. They've got to find some frags. Silent, what a swipe from him. Can he go back upstairs?
Looks like they can, and this is what really saved them in the past. But this time, Breeze in a great position, is forced forwards with the flames, but no one's looking. Oh no, disaster strikes as Breeze gets an opportunity to save the round for his team, as Silent now has to clutch again. Up against Ethan in the 1v1. Has to go for the bomb plant. Luckily for him, Ethan is not close enough to punish him just yet. But now his position is known as his Silence, trying to turn around the silo to make a good use of the cover there, to find a good timing for the fight. And it's going to be down to the rifles, and Ethan will win it. Very nicely done, and that's a very important round for NRG. 15 now for them. One away from victory here.
Swole, though, have plenty of money in the bank, so they can fight straight back. And if they If they get round number 11, they should be good for round 12, 13. That's how they have to look at it. If we win this, it gets us over the hill, and we can see that finish line, and at least tie and take it to overtime. So indeed, a very important run for both teams. NRG can't afford a reset, literally. No more sniper rifle for NRG. Maybe that will allow them to be more dynamic in this rush from Swope Patrol. Plenty of spray going through the door, and it will lead to fruition. This could be it. This has to be it. Cooper now alone. All his team wiped out. Ran straight into Gatling guns. He's like Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai. Everybody's been wrecked. Slow death for Cooper, but there it is. 16-10. NRG taking over the line, the first match of the Americas Minor.
Yeah, you can see they are quite happy. Definitely a game. In fact, pretty much every game they're going to be up, or opponents they will be up against, they're going to feel like heavy favorites. They should do. They've got the experience. They are tried and tested and proven with their recent results on LAN internationally. And after we saw so much success from them in the online seasons and just the development of the players over the last year, it's been very rewarding to have followed their journey.
Yeah, they've been a really interesting team to watch. You can see that they are well studied, and you can see it in their executes, be it if they're on a buy round, if they're on an eco round, a force buy. They've got things in plan. And Swope Patrol, I mean, they got a good score on the board. It is the first match, so it's not a complete disaster for them, and it's a good start to their experience here at the Americas Minor. So we will see where they go from here. Plenty more matches to come this week in the Americas Minor, and plenty more matches to come today as well. So make sure you are subscribed to the channels wherever you may be watching, following, subscribing, either, or we're just waiting for an interview to get lined up, and then we'll hear some talk from the players about how that first kicked off. But there's some more experience for NRG versus Swope Patrol. Again, that's, as far as I can tell from HLTV, that's only the third time that those two teams have played each other.
It's a really weird map to play as well, playing Nuke. I don't know, it's just one of those outline maps. I feel like you can get a better sense of a team if you play them on Inferno, if you play them on Mirage. You know, some of these maps which are, you know, more conventional and less unorthodox. So I feel like you still don't have any good data when you play Nuke against a team, because it's just such a strange map.
Well, Parlo's about to get some data. He is with the NRG team downstairs.
Thank you very much, James. I'm stood by NRG. Congratulations, guys, on that victory. Just tell me initially what you were thinking going up against Swole Patrol, because you're a team that have been finding recent success, and they're a team trying to currently break through.
They're a good team. They have like some good players. We obviously think we're going to win because we have more strats and stuff. But if it's BO1 and anything could happen, if they win both pistols, then you never know.
Yeah, well, talking about pistols, you got the Dream start starting on the T side, getting those pistols on Nuke, and then you got 7 gun rounds as well. So that was a fantastic half, Chet.
Yeah, I think it could have been a little bit better. We had just some miscommunication on some strats. Next time, it'll probably be more like decisive.
And with regards to being decisive, it did seem at times that you guys were able to repeat the same setups and executes on that T side and managed to make them work. What was going on there, and also what do you think you could have done better?
I think we could have just like probably went lower bomb site more. They didn't really do exactly what they did in their past games, so they just like changed up what they usually do. Just the rotations were completely different, so I think next time we're just going to play more of our own game.
Awesome, thank you very much, Chet. Cirque, let me head over to you quickly. Overall, how are you doing at the moment? Are you happy to be here in London, competing for a chance to get to that major qualifier?
Yeah, I think we're all happy to be here and like trying to make it to the major.
And overall, Cirque, you've been a player that's definitely been on the rise. You've been finding some fantastic form with your AWP. And so right now here, starting off on day 1 at the minor, are you feeling like you have a great form currently?
Not this map. I think we're just a little bit rusty because it's the first map, little nerves. So I'm just hoping we show up on the next map a little bit better, because I think there was miscommunication and we were cold, in my opinion.
Awesome, thank you, Cirque. Final question then to Ethan. Up next, you'll either be playing E United or NTC. You had a fantastic first map, and overall, you've been playing very well, just like your teammate Cirque. Just tell me overall what's going to happen moving forward.
We're just going to keep putting the work in, trying to win. Yeah, we're just trying to make the major qualifier. I think we're all confident right now. So, I mean, we're just playing how we usually do.
There we go. Well, you have one more best of one to come against the winner of our next matchup. And if you do take that, you'll move directly into one of those qualifying spots. Anyway, let's head back to the analyst desk.
Thank you, Parla. I'm really jealous of that cactus shirt. Can we please do a swap at some point? Sometime before I leave you guys in 5 days' time, I'm going to be wearing that shirt on this desk. You mark my words. Now, we thought NRG was going to take it, and they did, pure and simple. Swope Patrol said to me before the show that they make mistakes. They're always their own, and that's what loses it for them. And we saw the perfect example with that 5v2, didn't we, Vendetta?
Yeah, no, we definitely did. And again, when you're already going into this matchup, definitely not favored, you can't afford to make those kind of mistakes, especially on the CT side of Nuke as well. It's such a volatile map just in general, the fact that you need to pounce on every chance to get rounds versus a team that is, on paper better than you. So I think that was really the kind of trendsetter or tone setter, if you will, really for that entire match. And it could be a very different game considering how we see them kind of fight back a bit on their T side. If they actually managed to get to 7-8 rounds on their CT side, if they got control over the money, not necessarily getting reset all the time, we could have had a bit more of a match on our hands. But in the end, they do make those mistakes that they kind of admitted to themselves that they are prone to making. So that was their downfall.
And Jacob, they were never changing things up. They were never challenging NRG when they were on the T side, when of course, Swole were playing CT. What would you have done differently?
I mean, it's tough when you go up against a team like NRG who has the firepower they have. I think we saw a great example during that game was Ethan throughout the entire game. He was just killing left and right and doing great for himself. And it's tough when you are the underdog and you go up against players that they're better than you individually. They're stronger than me, so I can't really take the head-to-head duels. We have to figure out another way to play around it. And again, Swope Patrol is not how do we say it? It's not a team with a big T. It's more like a mixed team that plays a little bit off each other instead of playing like the team game in Counter-Strike. So when you face a team that is better than you at shooting people, then what do you do if you don't have any team play? There's not really any options left for you. So I think we saw the limitations of Swope Patrol in this one, and I think we saw how strong NRG can be. And let's take what they said as well. They didn't play their best game. They were a little bit rusty as well. So this could have gone even worse for Swope Patrol.
Now, Swole have got to play in that losers bracket, and if they lose, they are out. If they win, they have to go to the lower bracket final. So they have to play 2 more best of 3s today. Do you think they can get through them? Can they even get through the next one?
I think it might be too early to spell just complete doom for them, considering we haven't really seen what kind of form United are going to show up. And same thing with NTC as well. They've been a big question mark really leading up to this minor qualifier. So I think we can still hold our horses on that one. They're still within a shot. And speaking to Freakazoid yesterday, he said we've played versus the teams, we've practiced versus them, and we keep beating them. So they know that they're within a chance of doing so. But it's going to be tough over the course of 2 best of 3s. Like a lot of things have to go right, and they can't make just glaring mistakes like we saw they do versus NRG.
Jacob, you mentioned Ethan earlier. That is not backwards. It's Ethan backwards, or not. It backwards is technically Ethan too, guys. There you go. English for you. Little lesson. You mentioned him briefly earlier, but what really makes him a great player, and what do you think we're going to see from him as we go through this competition?
He's one of the guys who has very elevated his play as of lately. We talk about Zerg in the pregame about how great he's been basically for NRG, but I feel the second guy and the second catalyst for this team in order to win all those games are Ethan. He's a great aimer and he seems very calm. His decision making is great as well. You don't see him make mistakes. You don't see him go for the 3rd or the 4th kill when not needed to basically. So he's very calm, very collective as a player, and he's tough to play against because when you go up in a straight one-on-one duel against him and his aim, you're often going to lose. He's one of the best aimers in NA, no doubt. So he has the complete package. And when you look towards the NA scene in general, you don't see too many players who have like the complete package. Some players have great aim. Some players maybe have the great mind for the Counter-Strike. But if you have both, especially in NA these days, you're valued a lot. And I think Ethan has that contributes to his play.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing as well. Like, especially when you end up in a scenario like we saw this map turning into, the fact that Swope Patrol weren't doing a good enough job of actually disrupting what NRG wanted to do out towards yard. So many rounds in a row, Ethan was just able to drop down on the main or get close by main wall and just kind of turn the corner and again get that 1v1 duel he wants versus the isolated player in main, because they did a good job of smoking things off out in yard. And from there on out, Ethan is going to win those out more times than not. So, and again, the ability to follow up on that, as you mentioned, goes for the second frag, doesn't really do anything more than that at that point. He's already created enough chaos for his teammates to grab space and and actually find ways to enter the bomb site, and that's all you need to do. But Swope Patrol, if they're not able to get him out of his comfort zone, he's going to be a complete menace to deal with.
Well, we will see Ethan and we'll see NRG in the upper bracket final. But first, we've got another best of one to get out of the way. E United versus Brazilian boys, NTC. And Freya is with Relics from E United right now.
That's right, Frankie. I'm here with Relics from E United. So firstly, how are you and the team feeling to be here in London?
We're feeling pretty good. We were just in London about maybe a month ago in Leicester for the MDL finals. But it's nice to be back. Feeling good.
Cool. So you guys had some very convincing wins in the minor qualifiers against the likes of the Entourage and Armada. Does it give you more confidence coming into this matchup?
Not particularly. I mean, not to be disrespectful, but I think based on like the trajectory of this team, we kind of hold ourselves to a certain standard, and we really think that we should be beating these like lower level premier teams or lower level pro teams. So I would say, I mean, we're happy, but it's not like, oh wow, we're filled with confidence now.
So how have you guys been preparing to face NTC?
It's been normal practice routine. 2 days before we flew to London, we were in LA boot camping for a few weeks for the minor. That's actually where we played the qualifiers from. So we had a little boot camp, and then just the typical, prep work our coach does, analyzing demos and watching replays and things like that.
Cool. Thank you very much. We're going to head over to a short break now. Don't go anywhere.